So let's talk about Loveable. Amazing platform. And when I first discovered that, this is great. It's a fantastic platform. And when they introduced their kind of cloud backend and infrastructure, that was a really important feature for us because of the amount that we would have to pay for each project, and we were trying to work out how we deal with databases. There's a bit of a learning curve. How do we make it secure? So the idea of having the kind of Tenkin hub app, which links to the spoke app, so you just pay through the hub, and then any app we add is a spoke, so it reduces the overhead on having to stripe payments for different stuff, checking authority. We have our portal pass authentication that makes that fluid, both for the user and from a coding perspective, in that we're not having to put as much stuff in to get that working. When you go onto a spoke app like a coach logger or something, it just checks, is this person a member of Tenkin, have they paid? And that's it. Fairly straightforward. But what I noticed with Loveable, and it was a great sort of platform initially, was actually they're rapidly expanding, and it seems that they're not rapidly expanding their tech stack with it. So as a business, that creates a lot of risks for us, because what we don't want is our users coming on and having a slow or negative experience. So one of the main things was to really change the infrastructure. We moved to Replit. So we still have an account in Loveable, so some of the spoke apps at the moment are sitting on Loveable. We'll transfer them across gradually, but I think Loveable still has its place in our workflow. I think it's a great platform. I'm not taking that away, but I think as a tech stack, it's not there. Replit, our experience so far, really good. Dual databases, things like that. So you have the development database and the production database. So anything that we're working on doesn't get affected. So that's really good. And I think with all the outages, that was the right move. We had to go from that to something else, something more stable. And on that journey, that's where we saw Cloudflare, looking at how do we change the DNS, things like that, so that we're making a better platform for you as the user, more reliable, faster, accessible. That all these things are really important for us. That user experience is the best we can get wherever you are in the world, and Cloudflare really helps us do that. It also helped us with the storage bucket and things like that. So when we're adding storage to the app, actually we decided to use Cloudflare because it's cheaper, expands a bit better, and it allows us then, if we have an issue with Replit, we can move across. And the great thing about Replit is it's using its Neon sort of database, so we can access that, whereas Loveable, we had limited access to the database, so programmatically we couldn't change stuff. You'd have to go in, and I had to make some tools to do that better, and it was all a bit clunky and a bit messy. And when you build tools in to do that, it creates a bit of security weakness as well. So now doing it this way, we can update our databases just through our normal kind of AI coding practice and workflow. So that saves money, because at the moment we don't have investors. We're just building this up. So we're intent on making this as cost effective as possible to build as a business, but maximize the impact. And I think the great thing with really the kind of large scale tech platforms like Replit, like Cloudflare and the Neon sort of Postgres databases, is that the design that when you're low use, it's pretty much free. There's no massive cost, and as you scale, then your cost increases. But that's then appropriate to the money you're getting in from your audience. So I think if you're looking at Loveable, avoid it as your tech stack, but look at it just then for that rapid creation. But I'd encourage you to look at Google Pro, and if you go into Google Anti-Gravity is a great tool compared to Cursor. Cursor's still a brilliant tool, but I think that there's real value in the Google kind of infrastructure, in that you're getting that, but you're also getting anti-gravity. You're also getting Google AI Studio. So that's your replacement for Loveable to create your apps, sync them to your Git, and then you can pop them on Replit. So that's my kind of thoughts on Loveable at the moment. AI changes every day, and I think that's important, that as a company and as a business, we're responding to the changes. We're not going to stick in one place if it no longer works. We've got to be dynamic and move. So that's my ramblings again from our kind of Tenkin diaries. So thanks for watching, and cheers.